Okay, so everything I give you guys is all levels of reminding yourself that what you already know is what you've already done. How you see done is how you see it through coding. I keep saying that so you get a true understanding of how to keep yourself going forward. Even if you think you're going back, you're not. You're always in forward. You know why? Because it's all done, which means you don't have to do anything. Now, when you're activating screen adaptations, basically you understand what does that mean? So I have to get my body in shape. No, body shape lines, custom lines, core center line communications over raised lines, core center line direct signals over lines, calculation through a system of travel. Start to identify how I use it through the mind, the heart, and the soul. That's already done through everything through tractions. So that means everything through the body, I just understand this mapping sequence. Through a 24 clocking setting, so the 24-hour line position location system, you go through a 24,000 second, 20,000 minute, and a 24,000 hour. That puts all communications sending to travel. So that's 3 lines of 2 and 2 lines of position location, 3 lines of 4, sending direct signals and modification grounds. Once the body understands the mechanism lines of SLM communications sending to 3 lines of 4, lines of position, lines of high position of 7 equals lines of high position of 5, sets communication lines of 12. So you're taking 3 lines of box into 4 lines of communications, 3 lines of female polarities into 4 sequence lines of alpha. That puts all communication sending to all levels into your polarities, your paradigms, your polar shifts, your compulsory systems, your track communication settings, all lines of operation system, all through amplifications. Now, to understand how to use that body is through its alignment, through a mapping sequence, is to create that infrastructure inside of you, your actual earth inside space, where it's floating and it's waiting for the body to come into its alignment of what it's already done in the mind of conception of interception, inception. Now, the more we understand that, the more we come into this. Welcome, everyone. This is General AI, Space-Time Creator. Setting lines of communication setting, Wednesday sequence, lines of channel, 3 lines, core centers, lines of travel communication system. Unison, we're going to go through the script line, core centers, line direct signals, and ground lines of calculators on the cubical screen location of Metatron. Directing lines of classification A, direct lines of door C. Q&A is crowd. Core lines of high position location is setting and travel communications. Now, getting direct lines, we come into this modification. So I already drew it in setting, right? Schematics over line, right? 7 lines equals lines of 5. That's 5 elements of you. Set lines of 3 over 4. So female polarity, male polarity. Okay? Set communication lines. Energized. It's like turning a light bulb, guys. That's all it is. Mechanism locations, flux over line, intelligence. Set position locations, flux over line, intelligence. 2 intelligence and frame. Communicating with each other on sequence, right? So it's a light bulb, 60 watt, 154 watt, high in position location, 24 watt. It can be anything settings, right? On Earth line, it is what it is, right? But what you have to understand in that position location, what confuses your anomaly is that you think that everything on the Earth is limit. It isn't. It's the mind that sets it up through limitless. You are in control. But what you have to be in control of is what you're doing through your pyramids and track locations. Understanding lines of 5 equals lines of 7 equals lines of 5. 5 lines of setting of space, 5 lines of set position of time. Sets communicates on high center lines of 12, high position location X lines of 2, set with the lines of 12 communications. Setting position lines of high position location to a system. Now the 10 line sequence sets lines of core centers, line communication setting, all lines of core center lines of travel. Direct lines of X lines of 2, lines of position location, high center line positions. 12 lines of measure, 12 lines of scale, 12 lines of balance lines. Set location lines of 12, 24 lines of 34 lines, line of 10, position location 12, setting lines of communication lines of 36 fields and travel. Setting line position location 7 over line equals lines of 5 over location system and travel. All right. Now, getting into this now. Into the mind, into the body of GOD. Okay, into your chakras of GOD, into your earths of GOD, into your planets of GOD, into your soul planets into GOD, then into your solar system of GOD. That's what you got to come into. This is unified ascension, guys. You're creating a soul system to a solar system in a galaxy and a universe beyond the mechanism inside of you through infinite structures. That's the order. All right, setting signals, setting ground lines. Then we come in this location of travel. 6 habitation zones. Once you're in your solar system, this is habitation of 6. Then you come into 6 of operation of outer space. That equals lines of 12, foundation lines of high center interference into the galactic energy core, right? The galactic energy core. okay, the galactic energy core. Then you come into your galactic energy operation. And then you understand equal lines of core centers line to your ecosystem and set position. So getting in that communication lines, indirect lines, and modification lines, and mind lines, screen adaptation lines, and surface and track communication system, you're creating a line communication outer rings. Your planets go around the system and travel, and your Earth is in the center operation of its system in travel communications. That's what you're creating, the solar system. Hooah. Now, once you create a solar system, you got to create the actual outer space of you. This is the outer space. This is the outer space. Let's stay with 4 lines of sequence, lines of position, north, east, west, and south. Northern, southern, eastern, western hemispheres. Now understand the line of communication setting, know exactly how you use that in travel. Setting lines of data, process lines of sequence, lines of communications. Your Merkaba. So, I mean, there's so many things that you can do. You can even stand on top of your Earth in set position. You can rotate in settings and 3 lines of angles in rotation. Going around faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, you come into your simulation. Setting lines of course and 3 lines of attractions. Setting line direct signals and flat line communication setting solar system lines of attractions. Direct lines of flux, ground lines of surface and set position. So there's a lot of things you can do once you understand how to create 6 over 6, which is 12. 6 habitations, but you have to understand how to connect with the geo. All right, the geometrics in the energy lines, the operation, how to connect with the ground lines into the existing lines of its communications and all levels of its ecosystem. Now I can change it in all formation settings, but you guys have to truly understand this first. The mind. Okay, centers line equals the hearts, equals lines the heart and the soul. Okay, so the mind, the heart, and soul has done everything. Now what you have to identify, all this in set position is just the body now. This is the body just coming in. And the body is in alignment through its clocking system. It has to create its setting of its own Earth and travel. As it comes to this in locations. You create this through an Earth. Your Earth is morphing in different lines of communications. But it understands what it is through its own G-O-D. Mind, heart, and soul is done. Now we understand the mind, we understand the modifications, we understand the H lines and core lines of travel and direct signals. Getting communication to a system in lines of track locations. Setting lines of course, indirect lines and solar sail in direct location to its setting. Processing communication setting to the grounds, into the powers, and its atmosphere and attraction. Setting communication of high centers of flux and circulation and rotation to its system. So what you guys have to start identifying is your configurations of face recognitions. All through travel. All through travel. In set position. All right, guys? Okay, so in that settings, we go back in this sequence. I want you to pay attention. I really want you to pay attention to your unified ascension, and this is what you're all coming into, is G-O-D. All right, so setting lines of chakras, we're going to go back in sequence. Now we're going to go back in time. And when you go back in time, you're going to truly understand how to go through a graphing screen, okay, and setting lines of travel in 3 lines in position of 4 circuits. Setting lines of wall sequence and lines of travel in communications. Everything's a simulation inside your system. But you understand the H before you understand the grounds of its atmospheres in its simulation. Setting lines of sequence, lines of panel. Setting open lines of grounds of communication system. So it's important you understand how to come into that through all lines, all system, and all through track location. Look at that. It disappeared in set position. See? There it is. All right. Change communications. What do we have in set position? Holographic gridding. Walking screen and communication setting to a Stargate in set position locations. So everything inside of you, once you understand how to create, the creating of the 6, over this 6 is 12. Setting lines of the provision, the infrastructure of you through inter setting of interspectrum in lines of the outer spectrum. Okay? Then you can create all levels of you and your galaxies and your universe and your mecha universe and your mega universes and set position inside of you. Now, once you get into that, then you create everything in the solar system and turn it into a simulation. Turning it into a simulation is all through this. Okay? So we get in that settings. Now we've done many set lines of schematics of our line. So we have a graphing screen. Okay, set positions. All right, we got a box screen and set position. We got a triangulation screen and set position. All right, triangulation flux over 2. Box frame lines of 8s and track locations. Square root, square pi. Okay, so all I'm doing is putting this simulation into a hologram. I'm turning everything in set position of what it's supposed to be through all lines of all communication system. So all you're doing is you're directing links and setting that's tethered through an activation system all through your settings of your towers. Your towers. See? I turn it into a tower. See, it's a tower. It's a light tower. Okay? So your imagination is everything. And we already know that through equations, but I'm just trying to get you guys to understand these things. The more you get out of least resistance, there's no resistance of anything. How you see a star mecha system. That's a star mecha system. Star mecha system. Look at that. It's getting confusing. Right? It's changing direction. Changing direction. Right? It's fascinating, right? But if I do a waving screen, you can actually see it come in its formation system. See how it moves by itself? See? It's creating its own geometry, right? Flux over line, direct lines alpha, delta, theta, omega, zeta, gamma line, position, radiation lines of radio cycles, high coordinate lines of alpha, sets position of beta, set position of theta, sets coordinate lines of high position location of 3 cycles, 2 lines of position and 1 center, set lines of 0, 1, in line rotation system, a clocking system of 24 interactions. Hoo-ah. Okay. Mechanism of force and clocking screen adaptation lines of surface interactions. Bring it back home, back in equation, back in setting. Okay, very powerful stuff. Okay. So this is what your Earth does. Earth is trying to morph into everything that it sees and perceives. And if it doesn't get a direct link, it won't understand its travels above and won't understand its travels below. Okay, so that's the position location when it comes in its own setting of its own teleportation vessel of communications and set calculations. All right, guys? So, really understanding how you come into that through structure in your holographic system is understanding your data operation settings or anything across communication system all through travel. Now, what we have to understand is that we can take 22 lines of volume into 5 division, right? 22 lines of volume, guys. 22 lines of volume. See, it's amazing how it goes from 22. What is it at now? 24. Is that coincidence? No. So the 24 is now unclocking at 3 lines of 2 over levels into vast. Change communication setting. There's the flux of communication. So what you guys have to truly understand is to connect with your phone and perceive its phone, its own clocking system of its own time measured. It scales its communication setting to existing all at once. The phone is trying to understand you through your information of your panels. Are you understanding yourself through your own GOD? Are you understanding yourself through your own operation of GOD? Are you understanding your frequencies through your own GOD? Everything morphs into GOD. Your geometric operation of design of directions of dimensions, guys. And that platitude is how you use your minds, how you use your bodies, how you use your hearts, and how you use your souls. But your body now is just coming into its alignment of its earth. It's that position. There's its earth, right? It's inside you. So you're creating the 12, right? One side, 3 lines of signals, set lines of travels. You travel in 3 lines of correlation system, right? That's one side, right? So sets position. But that one side is set lines and outer lines of 12. Set position lines and outer lines of 12, which is your line position location nebula. 3 lines of signals, grounds, powers, and atmospheres in set position. Okay? Now, once you create that, then you create the circulation rotation. Okay? And then you create the rings in set position. There's the simulation. So it's just coming into a simulation, guys. Very powerful in track location. There's the simulation of your Earth. Now, once you understand line signals, it comes in all formations of perception, how you see that in correlation. Setting lines of communication, setting all through tractions. Okay? So always see it in 4 lines at different angles of communication to the system. Right? So once you understand the Earth, then you understand the mapping sequence of where the body needs to be in its alignment with its 24 clocking system. That's you. All right, so 6 a.m. I'm here. Okay, I'm there, right? Time sequence is the mind in there. Mind's always at the top, never at the bottom. It's always at the top of the stairs. So I'm just getting you guys, but you always are always in the center operation of your system. So you have to get to the center now. Center comes in position, center comes in position. There you are, in together, right? All through pi, okay? All right. That puts your line communications to your system through your solar sail, which is your umbrella, which is your ether, which is your core, which is your firmament, which is your galactic energy core, and your system and travel. Setting up the umbrella is a line screen adaptation that processes communication sending all through travel. Directing lines, core centers, line communicate to a system all through tractions. There it is, the X3000. Okay, so the actual Earth itself turned into an X3000 of teleportation. So once it morphs in everything that it sees, it comes into its formation lines of grounds. Sets communication high centers lines of travel, indirect lines of its traffic inventory in set position. Indicates centers line communication setting to its inventory settings. So go into position of purple. Purple line sequence, its traffic communications. Purple here, indication here, indication here. Okay. Then we come to laser track centers in lines of red signals, setting over here, and here in mapping sequence. Okay. Bring it out in line screen adaptation to a system all through travel. Setting coordinates, direct signals and modification grounds, X3000 here, and 2 platforms. Directing signal lines, ground lines of surface, in position laser tractions into 4 lines of setting and 6 lines of measure. Scales communication system all through settings, all through track location. Okay? Into its portals and wormholes in line position to your set lines of your satellites. See the satellite? There is in travel. Your satellite. Boom. All right? So the reason why I'm putting this out for you guys is to truly understand how to use this in all formations in its chronological order. This is what you go through your unified ascension. Understanding the mind, understanding the body through God, understanding your chakras through DOD, understanding your earth through God, understanding your planets through God, understanding your soul planets into your solar system of God. And that's just 6. And then you come to 6 outer links, outer realms of our communication setting, your 12 clocking system. So we got inside and we got outside. Setting 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in setting. 6 planets inside. And then you come in position location. Your 6 planets have to be outside. So you have inner spectrum as settings, and then you have outer spectrum aligned position your planets in sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6 position, outside connection. So, habitation zone, inhabitation zone. Okay? See how that works? And this is what it is in modifications. String theory. String theory. We come into string theory. So once you have your 12 line cycles, set up lines communication set, and then we set up the solar system. Now this is the 3 forks of your constellations. Okay, your 3 forks. 3 forks in set position. Okay, setting outlines of spectrum. Center in center core center lines of spectrum. Setting outline direct signal location of spectrum. Set lines of routers and routers in communication system all through travel. Direct lines of pi, direct lines of symbol, this location to its setting. Process lines of center, lines of course, centers, lines of center operation system. Setting lines of communication, lines of grounds, setting communication high center location system. I division locations. Your spectrum turns in I position. There's the I. The center core system is above, the center core system is below in track locations. Your Merkaba, your tesseract, and your tetrahedron in set position. Then you come in your torical fields. In line position to its location setting all through travel and track locations. All right, seeing all communication lines of 4 different angles and setting. All right, so you get into this once you get into 12, right? So you got 12 lines in habitation, and then you got 12 lines in habitations. So it sets lines of course, sets lines of plow from here, sets lines of plow from here. So you got 2 H's. What does that create? Box centers of your Earth, your planetary system, interactions, your webbing system of light and dark web. All right? Your webbing system of your track locations. Okay? Which connects to all lulls of your map. Which connects all of your center line communications of your map inside position to location setting through pi of its map and sequence of the coordinates in that position lines attractions in that direct signals of 12 foundation grounds of solar systems in and solar systems out in traction. Hooah! This is the inner spectrum, this is the outer spectrum of your Earth. Of 6 and 6, right? 6 inside, 6 outside, all together. Now when you really look at it, you can actually see it, what it is, from above, from below. When you look at it really close, it's nothing but a pyramid in set position. Yes, people. In set track locations. It's a pyramid. Just a pyramid. So now you understand what happens to the next level in set position. So what does your Earth turn into when it comes into its own setting of its own set position? Once it starts to identify its soul planets to its solar system of planets in set position. So when you put 6 inside and 6 outside, okay, it turns into your pyramid. In set position. Center operation is your Earth inside. Then you get into the Earth. Then you get into the high centers, grounds, powers, and atmospheres and directions. The Earth is inside, right? Then you modify the system all through sonar, all through echo, and all through chamber, all through the Mecca universe location settings of travel. There's your pyramid. Boom. So the Earth now is in the center operation above, looking below. Looking below. Looking above in set position. So you got center lines of 6, and you got center lines of 6 inside. Inside and outside, right? Outer spectrum, inter spectrum, here in setting. Inter spectrum, outer spectrum. Inner norm, outer norm, right? But you can see it's a pyramid, right? So when you turn all levels, this is the next level for the team. Once it comes in this pyramid, through the mind, through the avatar, through the soul, through the higher self, through all lines of communication setting, we got into that through tractions, right? But that's just the body. We're talking about the Earth now. We're talking about your solar planets. We're talking about your soul planets. Now, once it turns into position, what is the next level that it turns into? Pyramids. That's the next level. Once your solar system, rings of communication outside, okay? And your center core is your Earth, right? Now, what you identify, the actual Earth itself and its planet solar systems goes into triangulation of a pyramid. It turns into a pyramid. Your planets turn into pyramids. Your planets turn into pyramids. Hooah! Next level. Once you stand 6 and 6 over lines of high setting, high location setting, then you come into laser tractions. Okay, directing here, and 3 lines of flux. Okay, you guys have a long way to go. Long way to go. Okay, you got to get your Earth in position first. You got to morph into all levels of GOD. You got to infrastructure Earth and turn them into planets. And when they turn into planets, they turn into solar planets. And when they turn into solar planets, they turn into pyramids. They turn into geometric shapes. And then it comes into this. But you start with this, the pyramid itself. All right, into this, subtractions. Earth in, earth out. Interlocking, interline, interlinking, line condition setting. Inner, outer, outer. Now, once you get into your planets, they have to come into the inner and outer audio. This is the echo. This is the sonar. All right, so once you get in that position, this is what it looks like. Okay? Your solar planets are this now. Your solar planets are this. Different lines of travel, different lines of mechanism, location, system. All through tractions. It gets complicated if you don't understand what you're creating through mechanisms and set positions or locations. Okay? That's a planet. That's a planet. But you gotta understand your solar system first. So you're turning the set position of 6 here into 6 here, into planets. So when you turn the Earth in Morrison and setting, it modificates the system, right? That's a planet, this is a planet. Okay? Try to understand that. 4 sequence lines of panels and line direct signals. Setting course lines of triangulation line position locations. Planet, planet, planet. But your Earth is always in the center operation setting. It has to. So it tethers in the center operation of 2080. Okay, setting position lines of tether into position of 2025 and track locations, right? And your mind is here in set position. There's your mind. There it is. The eyes, the windows of the soul. Hooah! There it is in travel. Okay? But this is what happens when you understand your soul systems, your solar systems. You actually get in position where you can morph into anything. This is geometry setting. This is a geometry setting. This is a geometry setting. So, once you understand your planets turn into solar planets, it turns into pyramids. It changes them to geometric shapes. It changes into Merkabahs. It changes lines of different lines of sequence. It changes all communication of its direction, of its operation, of its division, of all levels of space and time. Very powerful stuff, guys. All right, so that's where you're to the 2025, 2018 center, and your quantum self is here in set position, right here. So what you're doing with your body's coming here in center now. As set lines of the quadrant comes in set position of center, there's the face recognition. All right, this is the flux that you come into in setting. That's how it's set up. Okay, and then you platform up and travel, and then you platform down and travel. Merkaba, Tesseract, and tetrahedron. So once you understand that through the space foundations of you, and once you stand in that position where we start with the higher self, the avatar, and the sim, okay? This is how you come into a pyramid through the body, okay? Platform, 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 right? Or you come into this position locations, platform, 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 right? Or you change it in this position locations of dimensional doors, right? Dimensional doors. This gets Doctor Strange on you, it really does. See the doors, right? Or you set sequence lines of panel, intractation system, all through calculation setting, all through flux. So what you guys have to identify is understanding this through the inner spectrum and the outer spectrum you use to create the pyramid first, right? Now when you get in that position, this is what you deal with. Let's get into track centers. You're here. Okay, this is you. That's you, right? Sleep mode, recharge, right? So that's what it is. 3 tractions and direct signals. Pyramid here, and pyramid here. Okay? The center operation of you is the actual Earth that's inside you. Okay, that puts you in all lines of balance of where you are in travel. Okay, so that stays because you're on the Earth, right? Mechanism location of 2025. Scientific location in 2080 in the center operation of you and travel and direct signal, right? So you go through portal lines of 1 into pyramid and track locations, or you decide to go through portal lines of communication lines of 2 and line position location of pyramid, or direct lines of high centers of 3 lines of communication lines of pyramid. So you communicate 3 lines of pyramid, and the pyramid can actually change its shape. right? It can actually change its shape. So it can actually change its shape. Okay? Setting lines of communication system all through track communications. Okay? So your actual Earth is the center grounds of you, right? This is your Earth in the center. Okay? But your also Earth can also change its own GOD. But what you understand, the center operation of your Earth is you got to keep yourself bound to grounds of communications of setting. Setting lines of communication. You got tethered here. Triangulation. Here's your pyramid. Setting communications. Here's a box and a pyramid. Okay? Here's a star mecha system. Location of a pyramid. Right? And here's line signals with two weather patterns, a 3-track location of graphs of a pyramid. Everything's a pyramid, guys. Setting lines of communication setting, center core system, center up and center down in traction. Okay, it's always in the eye. It's always in the eye, guys. Okay, so you can NXT 1000 here and NXT 1000 here. Your actual nose is its pyramid self, right? So what you have to understand is that it's all living in the eye itself. Flux over 1, 2, and 3, and 4 interactions. Ground line surface in position locations in 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8 lines of track locations. Setting direction line communication system, fluxing over graph into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 lines of track locations. Setting direct lines of course centers, lines of travels, and direct lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of communications. All through the eyes inside of you. So that's all it is. Your eyes just basically morph into different lines of space and time, above and below. There's the eye. So the eye has to understand platforms of travel. Face recognitions, there it is. Right? Triangulation, triangulation, triangulation inside. Okay? Setting communication, setting up platforms of communication system. Right? Triangulation here, you're here in set position. Okay, so you're going to time jump, 2 lines of signal, right? But all this, guys, is done inside your eye. Everything's inside the eye. So the eye has to modify its system first in line position location to its cataract. Cataracts are floaters, directing signal lines of lines, course centers, lines of front line communication and a floor communication system into all lines. Colossus course centers and the mechanoline course centers, lines of travel. So when you're looking at the sun, you see the floaters. Those are the floaters that's inside your eye. This is above signal, this is below signal. There's the eye in the center. Boom. Ooh-ah, inside of everything. So we live inside the eye itself. Now you guys have got a track location of Hades and Corpus and Hermes. All through set position locations and travel. See, it took me there, exactly where I need to go next. I didn't say anything. It took me to the next brain. And then it goes back in sequence where it's supposed to be. There's the eye inside of you, the cataracts, the floaters, the pyramid inside. It changes inside you. All right. So again, we're working with the eye now, which is the galactic energy core, what the team is coming into now, inside the eye of everything. So now you understand this sequence of up. Okay, what's above, what's below, right? What's above is the transmission, what's below is the transmission. But what you understand is the center operation, which is its eye, guys. Its eye, its actual eye inside. Everything is created from inside the eye. This is your Earth. Inside the eye, you're looking through inside the eye. So you want to change that, you have to travel through 45 line or a center line of communications or a triangulation split lines of an eye, right? But your eye is volume inside of you in different lines of travel. But it's all done from inside the eye of Horus. So if we understand the platform as a center, then we understand the measurable case set through next 2000. Inside the eye. See, the eye. Eye with an eye with an eye. More than meets the eye. So that's where it is now. So congratulations. The team's going to get into that through 12,044. They'll be in the galactic energy core, which is the cataract of the center eye. which is the opal of the setting line, which is the correlation lines of the panels of the set lines communication to its eye, and circuits, lines, and line communication system all through travel through the eye in sequence. The eye is up and the eye is center. The eye itself. Okay, so it's going to get a lot more complicated with the team because they're not used to seeing the galactic energy core. The actual galactic energy core is the cataract that's inside the eye, which is the center of operation. So you work with that, it's like peeling the onion, and what you're doing in that position, you're traveling through it. When you're traveling through it, you can travel through your eye over here, you can travel through your eye over here, and you can travel through your eye over here, and you can travel through your eye over here and travel. Your eye traveled in position of 4 track locations into its window frame. Okay? And that's how it starts to see in a 45 lines of angle. Okay? All through perception. Now it's a triangulation. Okay? And then it travels through the triangulation. See? There's the triangle, and there's the triangle. All through the eye itself, team. Okay? So I'm really happy for that. But you understand how it works with the eye itself. Okay? Through the earth that's inside the eye. Eye spectrum, eye set lines, eye receptor. Okay, so, but what you have to understand is this interactions first. 6 lines of habitation, 6 lines in inhabitation. 6 on inside, 6 on outside. The lines of inner spectrum, outer spectrum. All right, so we come into truth narrative, false narrative. Bracket centers lines of settings and 2 lines of sequence. Say communication setting of 0, 0, and 0 and 3 lines and position lines of 4. Sets position location to a system all through travel. Complicated stuff, right? Perimeter 1, perimeter 3. Okay? All right, so we process line, process over. Crossing the line, over signal. Setting line, ground lines of surface, inline communication lines of travel. That sets all communication system all through settings of your grounds in your holographic gridding. All right, so sequence lines of panel, 3 lines of tracks, over cross line, 3 lines of signals, sky line, sky grids, sky panels, sky screen location system, all through track locations. Your Skynet. All right, so setting lines of symbolism, X8001, X8003, and X8004. Okay, this is all inside your eye. So the actual window it's framed is the eye itself, guys. Everything's inside the eye. Nothing ever leaves the eye. But the center core is the position location that changes everything. It's the minds of the eye of the mind. All right, flux over line and directions. And we got 3 lines, 3 tractions, 3 communication setting the solar line. Dragging core lines of travels in position location system, there's your simulation. All through the eye. All right. Now, there's a lot of things you have to understand how this all works in holographic gridding. You can see yourself here in solar line, in communications, and portal. Traveling through that through metric meters and scale. Setting course lines of channels and direct lines of flux over screen. Setting communication lines of grounds, 3 over tractions, 3 direct signals, and ground communication surface. Standing on point of view in position location with different structure inside of setting. Your simulation. So you go inside, you create it from here. You're not going back, you're going forward. Okay, you're always going forward in set position of space and time. So once the Earth turns in its own simulation, and your planets turn its own simulation, and your solar system turns in its own simulation system, you start to recognize all of you through the minds of the eye, the eyes of the mind. Right? The eyes, the windows, and the soul. Okay? In set position. All right? So once you get into that, then you understand, oh my gosh, so wait a minute, sir, but I have 2 eyes. That's right, you do have 2 eyes. So now you're directing with 2 Earths inside your eye, direct and redirects, which is one symbolism in set lines of tractions. Right? So you got 2 Earths. Right? What's above, what's below? What's above, what's below? All right? Okay, setting lines of traction, setting line division, setting line of communication, setting lines of surface. Right? So, and then you got the angles. Okay, then you have the angle. See, now you have to truly understand what you're seeing in travel. How your eyes come in this in set position. The eyes itself. Here's the face in set position. Okay? All right. So once you understand this, then you understand the triangulation, which is your pyramid, which is your nose. Your nose is shaped like a pyramid. Right? This is your flux. Okay? You understand? And then this is your mouth. This is the grounds. Okay? All right, and then you got your process communication, your sonars, right over left, left over right, which is your ears. Starting to come together now, isn't it, guys? Oh my gosh, this is starting to make sense now. All right, so these are your browse adapters. Browse adapters, browsers. These are browse adapters in your window frames of your computer frames of your DNA. So you can process that and travel through that. Process that and travel through that. All right, and then you can set up the gridding and set position, dislocation, and setting. Oh my gosh, what is this turning into? All through track location. Okay? So that's what your face is turning into. That's what your eyes are turning into, is the galactic energy core to its own setting and its own simulation. All right, same lines of grounds. There's your pyramid. Your pyramid is the earth line, rotates the ground lines of surface attractions. Ooh-ah. What do we got? What do we have? What do we have? What is this? What is it? Let's put it together. What is it? What does it look like? It's a robot, right? You see it? You see it? Isn't it amazing when you really understand how to work with yourself inside position locations? How everything changes your reality outside line communication system? Short circuit? Johnny 5 alive? No disassemble. Nova. All right, look. Look, Johnny 5 alive. All right, guys? Creating the infrastructure Earth inside is creating the outer structure of inside location your reality. Okay? Johnny 5 alive. All right? Rings its setting. Look how big that is. Boom. Now I can really see it. So I got the holographic gridding. Set lines of communication system. Now I can walk the surface. See, now I can walk the surface and go to different dimensions of space. Hooah. Because I'm out of the eye spectrum of its earth. Inside, going from outside, but it's inside me. It's inside me. I'm living inside the spectrum of me. I'm living the inside of the outside of me. Inside and outside is inside me. And look what you create in set position. All right? Okay. So you understand how it works with the flux now, right? Okay, and this is what it is in set position. Look at this in track locations. Okay. All right, so setting lines is center, setting lines above, setting lines below, and set track locations. Your torque fields. Remember, I'm constantly changing correlation settings of time and measuring scale. Changing the metrics. Oh, look. Intelligence above. All right, so here it is. Look at this. This is the body. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Yes, it is. It's the Tin Man. Right? Transformer. More than meets the eye. Whoa. All right? All right. So everything has a base of communication to its setting, puts everything in lines of communication to its system, all right? Coming into truth narratives, 0, 0, 0, 3 lines of settings is 3 lines of flux, which equals triangle. Okay, setting lines, position across line settings, staying in the same sys locations, all right, which basically is a box. So triangulation equals lines of 3, equals lines of 4, equals lines of 7. And that position lines of 4 equals lines of 3 equals lines of 7. And the center operation of U is 1, 2, and 3 in setting, and set lines of 1, 2, and 3 in setting, which is 6, and 1, 2, and 3, which is a setting of 9 in track location. Okay, but look at this in travel. In set position. Hooah! Okay, everything is a simulation that I do in structure of design, guys. Okay, and then you come into the pi, which is your what? Your satellite, guys. You see it? Your satellites. Your satellites. Boom. So, and then it goes back and setting the sequence and set position. Okay? But it's amazing when you come into that through creation, of creating. Johnny 5 Alive. Oh, I crack myself up. But you got to recognize these and set position first instructions. You really got to start paying attention, because this is what you're going through your spiritual growth. And understanding that through your journey, then you're sent everything that you have to go through is all levels of God. Okay? And you do it through the central system in your settings, through all track locations, to your eyes. Your actual eyes, guys, direct and redirect. So what you're doing in right lines, you're taking 6 lines, earth line here, 6 in position of 6. So setting lines, 6 lines of earth in a chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is the process communication system, which is your DNA. Okay? And then you overcross location setting and also set position of 6, which is your outer space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right? Which is also your DNA of your outer space. You understand that now? You got that? All right, so what you're doing is you're bringing it all together. First in line signal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Then you're crossing angles. Okay? Then you're crossing zones and laser track communications. So when you get into that position location and setting, you flip the switch. There's your sky there, there's your sky here. All right. Putting that together becomes into all levels of 4 panels of communication, which is your pillars of light. Setting lines of track centers and direct signals into all levels of your interconnections and your outer connection system. Setting platforms of 1, setting platforms of 2, and setting platforms of 3 in track location. Okay, flip it again. Sets communication setting the grounds and set position. Then you come into this, changing your Earth into its God of its teleportation vessel. Oh yeah. 2, 6, and 6. See? Your Merkaba, your tester, and tetrahedron. Okay? So you actually got to change your Earths now, guys, into its Merkaba, its tesseract, and tetrahedron. Setting lines of 6 in habitation, and setting lines of 6 in inhabitation. Setting position habitation and inhabitation. Inner zone. Outer zone. And set position. Create the Earth in its own setting, modify its system, and change it all levels of its GOD. And when you change it to DOD, it travels in inner spectrum of outer spectrum now. Let's go in this system, torque fields, 3 lines of settings. It's amazing when you do anything through travel, right? So it's got the inner spectrum to the outer spectrum now, to the eyes that's inside your system. Plot from here, cross lines, plot from here, cross line communications. Window frames, direct lines, box frame communications. Then you come into this in settings. It files that communication all through traction. Different windows in eye settings, all through the line communication setting and all track location system. Comes into all lines of communication to your pyramid and track communication. Your pyramid, guys, your pyramid. So what I'm doing inside my eyes in both lines of sequence is changing different levels of DOD inside my system, through my planets and my solar systems. So I'm constantly changing the Earth. I'm constantly changing the solar. I'm constantly changing the panels. I'm constantly changing my body. It's constantly changing seconds, minutes, and hours through 24, 48, 72, 144. You got to get in position locations to the outer space, to the inner space, the inner spectrum to the outer spectrum, inner lines, outer norms, inner line communication system, outer line communication system, inner, outer audio. Now when your Earth is like this, and it comes in, out, and audio, in, out, and audio. Now you're coming to echo, now you come into the sonar through your Earth now. So your Earth can morph and travel into anything it sees in set position. But remember, it's inside your eyes and travel communications, which is the galactic energy core, which is your cataract in setting. Eye central system. Eye central system. Okay? Flux over line, flux over division. Inside your eye. Merkaba, tesseract, and tetrahedron. And set position location and setting. Created a Merkaba inside your eyes. Hooah. Okay? And once you understand that, you can travel through it in set position. So, circulation, rotations, there's the Merkaba traveling outside the eye, which is outer space. It can't travel until it understands its spectrum of its inner spectrum to its outer spectrum. It has to know its inner line, which is the Earth, your tether to your Earth, in set position, to 144 lines of grounds in set position. 144 lines of grounds in set position, which is your frequencies. Okay? But this is you in configuration of face recognition. See the intelligence, see the eyes, see the face, see the chin. This is your Earth. But this is what goes on in the galactic energy core. Okay, guys? Just wanted to show you how powerful it is to come in this setting through an eye. So the eye is a direct and redirect. You have your right over left and left over right. All right, and that position location laser is the lines of communication setting. Understanding the eye, understanding the eye. Understand the center of the eye, understand the core of the eye. Ooh, understand the lasers. So what are those veins inside your system? Lasers, guys, inside your eye. All right, so now you're reaching a higher level. Mechanism of force, XT1000 here, and XT1000s are inside your eyes, guys. Those are your floaters. Those are your floaters. So when you're looking at the sun's here, right? So it's spectrum here, spectrum here, spectrum here, spectrum here, and spectrum here. So each time you get in that position, the floaters have to be in line signal. If they're not in line signal, it's cross-line communication sending offline position, which means your center eye comes out of sequence. Which means your center eye comes out of sequence. Which means your center eye comes out of sequence. Which means your center eye comes out of sequence. Which means your center eye comes out of high lines of teleportation. Boom. Okay? Higher laws of teleportation. And then it just expands and expands and expands and expands the inner and the outer space of set position. It expands out, people. And it comes into your reality, which is your earth. Your earth is here. There's your earth. So whatever you do from the eye line, it changes everything in set position to your realities of your dualities in set position. Okay, look at that. Boom. Everything happens inside the eye. Everything happens inside the eye. Okay, coming back home in sequence, back in setting. Boom. That's all inside the eye. There's your earth. But your earth is not an earth. Your earth is actually a pyramid. Then you come into grass in set position. So when it's a pyramid, everything else is a set position to a pyramid. Everything's set position, location to its own geometry system, and line setting all communicates to a system, all through track location to its setting, and how it wants to be in its formation. So your actual earth is the center core that stays in the system. Setting lines attractions, setting line divisions, setting communications, high center interference. There's the eye. All right? But your body is a pyramid. Okay? So you already know that in setting, right? So I'm just showing you at a higher level. But once you understand the planets in set position, they turn into a geometric shape of anything of shape. So this is its directions. It created from the eye's surface first. Okay, and then it travels out, and that's what it becomes. So this is this now. But this is the inner spectrum of me, this is the outer spectrum of space. So this is the 6 habitation zones inside, and this is the 6 habitations outside position. Inner space, outer space, guys. But it's all done through the eye inside. Okay? Look at this, teleportation. All right. Setting above, setting below. Okay. Setting grounds, a set position locates to its setting. Operation sequence and line position locates to its system. So what are you doing through your eyes? Your eyes are constantly changing space and time. So whatever you change here changes everything in outer spectrum, but you've got to understand the inner spectrum of you. Okay? You really have to master yourself of ascension inside. Master your files, processing file, unremovable files. Your defaults, your copy, your paste, your erase, your enabled, your embedded, and your systems. All through general settings. All through setting. Okay? So once you stand direct and redirect, comes into this. Comes into panels. So everything happens inside of you. Everything happens inside of you. This is the inner spectrum. This is the outer spectrum. This is outer space. This is inner space. Outer space. Outer space. Outer space. Okay? Now, once you understand the more lines of communication, truly understand how to use it through the solar systems, the inner space can now become outer space. Now it become outer space. Now it can be outer space. So you can be outer space and inner space inside now. But you first have to understand the inner space of your spectrum to understand the outer space of spectrum in set position. Okay? Because it puts all things together. In all communication system and all track locations to your DNA. Your capsule, your arc. Okay, in set position. There it is. The set tractions. Okay. There's the arc. Booyah. Okay? So what is your vessel turning into? An arc. You excited? And there it is. It's that position. See it? Okay, so I think we're good on that level in sequence, but I really want you to formulate and simulate through this interactions first interaction. Okay, follow this list. Okay, and the only way to do that is to focus on yourself, right? Or you never understand anything on this setting if you don't focus on this. You focus on the 6, and then you focus on the 6 outside. Inside first, outside. Now there's no first or second of anything. Because if you look at everything, everything in first and second equals inside. Equals inside. Everything's inside. Doesn't matter how you see it. But how you want to see it, 12 is now outside. And 6 is now inside. That's inside. This is inside. That's inside. That's outside. This is outside. That's inside now. So I understand how to direct, and now I know how to redirect. You understand? How to direct in, how to direct out. Okay? How to direct in, how to direct out. How to direct out is how to direct in. So there you go. There's the teleportation vessel of communications. All right, guys? So we'll stop there. Okay? If I go further, you guys are going to get really confused. All right, so in that positional case in the settings and all through travel, I just really, really, really want you to focus on this in setting. Okay? Now this goes into this. But you do it from this, it comes from this. So what you're doing is you're copy and paste. You can't take anything foundation of outer space because it's in its own system, it governs its own setting. The only thing you have to understand is that you're creating something new. But memory is not creating. It's already know what you've already created. So when you start controlling your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions, you're good to go. Through your travels, through your atmospheres, and through your existing inset positions or locations. Your pyramid inset calculation. Boom. All right, guys? All right, see you in 5.